woman, his life is longer.
Welcome to Date, Affirm, the Real. Our live podcast talking about today's relationships and its effects on us all. Please welcome our hosts, Kia McLean, the poet, and Shanika, the dog therapist. Let's get real.
Ooh, and the crowd goes wild. Hey, everybody. What's up, everybody? What's up? It's another Tuesday.
Yeah.
I am Kia McLean, the poet, and that is
Shanika Arnold, the dog therapist.
boom, just like that.
Yes.
Just like that, like that, like
You're
that.
on the other side. You're on the other side of me. Usually I look at you like this.
I know.
You're on the side.
I'm used to like, okay. Thanks, babe. Like we know our places and stuff.
Right. I was like, where did you go?
This is how we do it. Okay, y'all. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to another Tuesday night with Date Affirm the Real. Kia McLean, the poet, and Shamika Arnold, the dog therapist. We are going to bring it this evening, y'all. And we have so much information. We won't hold y'all very long, but we're going to get through this conversation. Hey, Don.
Hey.
Good evening and welcome in. As you all know, this is the hourglass.
These are
the days of our lives. And boom, when we get that thing started, we get started.
Let's get it
So
started.
you already know what the topic is tonight. Did y'all read the topic for this evening?
I didn't even see it.
Are y'all interested in the conversation we're going to have this evening? The topic is
I see the title. Ooh.
Men Don't Like Women. Ooh. Now, is this true or not? So this conversation that we're going to have tonight is in response to the men's conversation that they had about a podcast conversation that these fellas had. It's a quite interesting conversation. And I'll give you just the gist of it. Gentleman who has been married for 8 years indicates that he does not like his wife. What did he say, cousin?
He said he didn't love him.
He didn't love.
And the other one's like, I don't either.
And it was like a whole posse. Admitting that they didn't like or love their wives, which was interesting to me. Now, the goal here is not to bash men, okay? Please be aware of that. That's never the goal, to bash anybody, period. But we are going to talk about our experiences. We're going to talk about some facts. And we're going to talk about this phenomenon that's happening as it relates to men and women connecting and relationships. So, babe, can you play that first video, please? Because let me preface it with this before he hits play. This video is not the same video, but it's another video by another podcaster that I watch and listen to. And I want you, he gets people to write into him and call into him. And this particular video is a conversation with a caller.
Right.
All right, babe.
So for 14 years, you belittled your wife. She got the clear message she was beneath you. You're the smart one. You're the fast one. You're the quick one. You are the provider. You're all this stuff.
Mm-hmm. I always thought she was beneath me.
Yeah, you did. And she's got that message for a decade and a half. And then 5 weeks ago, you decide it's all going to be different.
Yeah.
And hold on. 4 weeks into this, you're pissed off that she's not just like, oh, all right. Dude, you're belittling her again. Did she lie to you? Yes, no question about that. She's not on the phone to defend herself. Just you.
Okay.
Bro. As you were talking, here's the words that kept coming to my mouth. Dude, who do you think you are, man? So for 14...
Mm.
So, did you all hear that?
Mm.
So, this was from a totally different podcaster, right? That that likely has a very different type of audience as well,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
And again, this is just another podcaster that I listen to. In fact, he's had several people call in and say something very similar to what we
Mm.
just heard. Okay. So I just wanted to share that so that you can see this is not just the podcast boys, passport boys that say that. This has been men across the board that have said very similar things,
Mm.
that have treated their wives and their women a certain type of way. And sometimes I think it's not a blanket statement that means all. So, the old saying, only hit dogs holler. So if it don't
Mm.
apply to you, there's no reason to feel sensitive about it or emotional about it. It's like when men say women who do certain things do it for X or Y or Z reasons. I don't need to respond to it because it doesn't apply to me.
Right.
So I'll say the same thing for men is if it doesn't apply to you, don't worry about it.
It's okay.
Be aware of it when you encounter other men that are like this, though,
Right.
because they do exist. I've encountered quite a few of them myself.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a conversation before about last year. There was a video that went pretty viral where women were given the choice of choosing a bear or a man. And the men got all up in arms about the women saying, I would choose to be with a bear
Oh, I remember.
than I would be with a man. Now, what that says is a lot. Okay. Again, this is not to diminish any man. This is not to knock any men. If you're not in this category, it doesn't apply.
Right.
But I want us to be clear on the fact that there's a lot of this that is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to address it and have conversations, because sometimes when people aren't aware of the amount of people that are experiencing similar things,
Mm-hmm.
then it really kind of can be where people feel like people are over exaggerating or they're not being honest. And as a woman, I can honestly tell you, I have dealt with men who have been very abrasive, very nasty. They have been threatening. And quite frankly, there are men that are intimidated by women.
Mm-hmm.
They are intimidated by women because of their intelligence. They're intimidated by women because of the maybe respect that they get, the support that they get, the love that they get. That's a real thing. And they are upset that she has a higher earning potential, of her independence. And then two of the things that I really kind of want us to dig a little bit deeper in that Shamika will address from the therapy side, and that is the men that have mother wounds and those that have been molested as a child, and where that anger comes from, where that disconnection comes from on a deeper level. So I'll let you talk about that, cousin.
I think the mother trauma is a big thing. I know that there have been some conversations regarding moms treating their sons as if they're their boyfriends, right?
Uh-huh.
And the control, right? And so you have or controlling mothers. And controlling mothers, if you feel like your power was taken, if you feel like you don't have any power, so now you resent women. And so now what you're going to do is you're going to, want to have power and control over women. If you felt like it was taken from your, if you felt like there was abuse or it was taken from you through another woman when you're a child.
Yeah.
Sexually or physically, right?
And like that can materialize into all types of behavior. Statistically, and I was looking at this just as a way of understanding even the whole women choosing a bear over a man thing. But statistically, in the US, nearly 3 in 10 women have experienced rape, physical violence, and or stalking, and that's mostly come from a person that they've partnered with.
3 out of 10.
3 out of 10.
That means you got 10 female friends. That means 3 of them have had these issues. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And I think like we need to sit with that for a moment, because like we have to be holistically honest about the whole thing that's happening, right? And there have been people that have said, well, what did she do to deserve that?
Mm.
I've heard men say that.
Mm-hmm.
I've literally heard men, and not just 1 or 2 men. I've heard quite a few men say, well, what did she do to deserve that?
Right.
So now we got a twofold problem, because we got the problem with the man who attacked her, raped her, beat her, did something wrong to her. We got that person. And then we got the man who says, well, what did she do?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then we got another pocket of men who are protectors and who want to help that woman.
Yeah.
But we can't get to number 3 without addressing the first 2.
Right,
Let's please address the first 2. Again, I am a woman that's encountered quite a few things. I know women that have encountered quite a few things of what we're speaking of right now. And the fact that this is the reality of the situation, where men got on the podcast and said, I don't love my wife that I've been with for 8 years, and then tried to throw Will and Jada in there as an example, as if that was, yeah. Like, we got work to do.
Mm-hmm.
We got work to do. And this is a serious issue. And the men, I appreciate Don and Marcus and the other men at Astute Gentlemen having the conversation and addressing those men's comments. But I think sometimes we got to go a little bit deeper, and we got to we have to challenge more times than not.
Mm-hmm.
That there are times I think women need to talk to men more and men need to talk to women more, because this is how this type of stuff comes out. I've always had a pretty moderate amount of guy friends.
Mm-hmm.
I've always had that. So I get a different perspective. I've always had a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always seen things from both the women and the men's side.
Mm-hmm.
And from the time that I was a little kid, I've had little boys that were my friends to growing up and having grown men that were my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I have honest, deep conversations with them about some of the things that I have experienced. And one of my best friends who passed away, he was a huge protector. Mm-hmm. In fact, I was nervous to tell him things that people would do, because I knew he was going to go all the way there with it. And then I have the people that are like real chill, that are like, oh, let it kind of simmer down and it'll be okay. But they don't address the men. And then there are the guys who are like, well, no, we need to deal with this a different type of way. Like, they'll approach the guy and they'll have a conversation, but a different type of conversation. So I think like there's different types of men out here, and not all of the types are the types that we're going to be talking about.
Right.
But we have to acknowledge that women are really dealing with and facing some men that scare us more than bears.
Mm-hmm.
I just want that part to be clear, because
Right.
even as he said that about his wife, I cringed. I don't care if that was a mock. I don't care if that was we just playing. The way he said it, the way that they laughed, the way that conversation went, it was cringy.
You too? Like
it was cringy.
Yeah, it was like
it wasn't cute and it wasn't funny.
Yeah.
It was very cringy. I took it to heart. Because again, I've seen this type of thing before. Mm-hmm. Very quick story that I want to share. There's a young lady that I met very soon after I moved to Dallas, so almost 9 years ago. Mm-hmm. And sweet, loving, amazing lady and mother. Mm-hmm. And her husband, every now and then, would come around, and I just felt fear. I felt a fear, not only for her, but for me too, being in that presence, because he was a very angry, rude, nasty, demeaning kind of a guy. He would talk to her really bad. He would treat her really bad. And I have a tendency of wanting to help people, right? And so it was difficult for me not to say anything in those instances, but I always kept thinking like, how long is she going to take this?
Right.
You know, because sometimes women will take stuff until it costs them their lives, or it costs them their kids' lives, or family members, or but I clearly saw that there was some danger there. And I shared that only to say she dealt with that for a very long time until recently she reached out to me. And what she said to me was very profound. She says, "You always poured something positively in me." And she said, "You saw stuff that was going on, but you never said anything to me. But you had a look on you would always have this look on your face of care and concern and understanding, and just empathy for me."
Right.
And she says, I could always just kind of recall the energy and the love that you had. But that was a difficult situation, she said, because I thought that was what I deserved.
Wow.
I thought that was all I deserved. And there's a ton of women that are feeling that way. And that's why they put up with this kind of stuff from men and think like, that's it for me. Nobody's going to love me this way, this toxic, nasty way. They believe that that's it for them. But I believe like this is a time where real men have to really stand up and show like, I am a genuine, loving, supportive, nurturing man to all women, right? Because if not, women are going to continue to have this fear, and for the women, I'll say this: you know, we have to learn lessons, and we have to pay attention to these men and believe them for who they show you they are,
and follow your intuition.
Follow your intuition, because trying to make somebody be something that they're not is going to cost you, and possibly them, but it's definitely going to cost you some peace, and then having the relationship that you actually deserve to be in.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Did you have something you wanted to add, cousin?
I was looking at this video the other day, last month, and this woman was working out. I don't know if it was a skit. But she was working out, and she was minding her own business, working out by herself. The guy walks up with another guy, and he was like, "Yeah, you see," and she was doing squats with weights. And the guy was like, "Look," like he was acting like he was showing how what muscle she was working on or something. But he touches her. Like she was an object that he was allowed to touch without permission. And she said, "Don't touch me." And she did a down squat, and he squats and gets and grabs her behind, and she turns around and she gives the 1-2 and knocks him out. Now, I was looking at the comments, and the comments were appalling. Like, it was like, did you see the same thing I was watching? One guy said, "Well, look at her dressed like she had long sleeve workout clothes. Like, it wasn't even like shorts or even in whatever she was wearing, right? But still, right? Even if it was what she was wearing a long sleeve workout top and long pants to work out, minding her own business. And this man thought he could touch her without her permission. Like, and thought it was okay until she knocked him out. Like, when I say she gave him like 3, like she had been in like kickboxing or karate stuff, because she was like, she did and he was out on the floor.
So you said he was with somebody. What did the guy that he was with do?
The guy just it was like he was enjoying the show. So he sat down on another workout bench to observe.
Mhm.
And so when he did,
That's my point.
and see, he didn't stop it. He didn't stop, and he jumped when it happened. Though he jumped up like because she was like, "Stop!" And she wasn't playing. Like she was working out. Like she was not focused on him. She wasn't giving him eye contact. She said, "Don't touch me."
Yeah.
It again, like he didn't hear her. And I'm looking at the comments, and the comments is like, she didn't need to do all that. That was too much.
But
he squatted down and was
that's crazy.
And let a man come behind another man and squat down with him, and he's not asking for it. Now he's not wanting that to be okay.
Yeah. I mean, and I think this is the part that I kind of want to really kind of talk about is because it's one thing for us to say, "Oh, guys are kidding and they're playing around," but actions. When I look at people's actions, they align with some of the words and the things that are coming out of people's mouth. Even more, though. I mean, for you to believe that it's appropriate to put your hands on a woman and then to have men or one man with you that laughs about it, that jokes, that's exactly what happened in that podcast. Other men laughed, agreed with him, and nobody checked him. So it goes beyond a guy just saying that and joking. I know that there are some men who will correct their partners and tell them, "Man, that ain't cool." But there's a lot of men that go along with this shit. They go along with it. They think the shit is funny. They think it's cute. And one of the things I wanted to delve a little bit deeper into is the men not liking women part. I have said this to Marcus before. I've said, I really honestly feel like a lot of men do not like women. This is my honest to goodness. I honestly feel this way to this day.
Oh, I agree with you. Like I feel that sometimes I can feel when you come around somebody you can feel the disgust.
Yes.
I just want to shrink away.
And okay, so I want to, because we didn't talk about this part in advance. So I'm glad that we shared that, because I want to talk about something and see if you've experienced this. I've experienced hate from men who didn't even know me. Yes. I'm talking about disdain for me. I'm talking about a true deep dislike for me. And I can tell.
And I didn't even know them.
Didn't even know them.
I can feel it.
Didn't know them.
You can't stand me and you don't even know me.
I could feel it. I could see it. The same thing that I have dealt with from women, I have dealt with from men too. But it's on another level when it comes from a man, especially a man you don't know, you haven't had a lot of interactions with. It's very, very, it's a heavy kind of a feeling, you know? Men do follow the wrong leader a lot of times. And I think that that's a very harmful thing, especially to women, because so here's what I was going to tell you about some of the things, and I wanted to see if you've experienced this. Okay. I've experienced men who have been so nasty towards me when they first meet me, and it could be a number of things. It could be that he's intimidated by me. Mm-hmm. That's just the reality of it. When I've said that to people, they do not like women who can hold their own, that have their own money, that have a great career, that have it going on, that have great friends. They don't like that. And I've seen it happen so many times. I've seen men be jealous of me because of who I'm connected to. I've seen men be jealous of me because of the attention that I get. I've seen men have such hateful nastiness towards me. And to know that I'm a woman and you come at me with such anger and resentment and nastiness is a very scary thing. My husband is one of the rare men, and I'm being honest, and I'm not just saying that because he's my husband, but my husband is one of the rare men who I have not felt any level of, he's not felt threatened by me whatsoever. He feels inspired, empowered, emboldened to be more of who he is with me. Instead of feeling intimidated or less than, or like you got to compete with me. That is weird to have a man want to compete with me. What are you competing for? Right, what is there to compete about?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want us to do better and understand from the men's perspective, understand that women are really facing these types of challenges. Um, and that these things are, it's perplexing to me, to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
that a grown man behaves like a little kid, but that's part of that mother wounds, mother trauma.
Mm-hmm. And okay, so I had this conversation with the tattoo guy one day, and they were saying that like who taught men how to be men, right? So, but okay, so and this goes to black men, right? So if you were taken from your people, right, that had a certain way of living, a certain lifestyle, and then you're another one, and then they taught you how to be a man. So now your concept of what a man is flawed from your culturally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so because when Marcus said they follow the wrong leader, but that goes back to, this is what we've been taught through the colonizers, like that you're supposed to be in power. A woman is not supposed to have authority. We even get taught that in church.
Yep.
We even get taught that in church.
Yeah.
A woman can't be behind the pulpit.
Uh-huh.
A woman with power is not okay.
Yep.
In fact, we're the one that caused the fall of man.
Woo.
It was
Talk about it. Talk about it.
So if you've been taught, right, if this is what you've been taught, this is what's been taught to you, right? So now you look at a woman that's something against what you've been taught. Now it's this, you're in the wrong space. You're in the wrong place. And the only way I can express that is by anger, because I've been taught how to even verbalize my feelings or address feelings, because feelings is not for men. Okay? Although men, the anger is a feeling. It's a feeling. And so it's just it's called a secondary feeling, actually. It's anger. It replaces other feelings that you feel right here, but anger is the easiest one to show. But
that's good, cousin. That's
secondary feeling.
That's a secondary feeling. That is so good.
Let me draw the anger iceberg for you.
That's profound.
The anger iceberg, right? And so this is what we see is the anger, right? Anger.
Yeah. And
then other feelings could be frustration. It could be embarrassment. It could be intimidation. But the easiest feeling, because if you feel all these feelings, you got to deal with those. But if you show anger, you ain't got to deal with none of this right here, because you can even be sad and be like angry. I'm angry, but because anger feels better. It feels better than angry instead of feeling.
And as a former angry person, you're right. That was the emotion that I went to first every single time. That was the easiest, rather than confront my insecurity, rather than confront my hurt and pain, rather than confront all these other things, I went straight to the anger. So you're absolutely right. That was so good. That was so profound. I hope y'all picked the whole damn nugget up. Okay. I hope you picked the whole nugget up and was like, I'm carrying this with me, because I think that is where the rage comes from these men who, especially, like, even if you're a man that listens to this, if you feel triggered in any type of way hearing this, like, it's okay. Hold on to the awareness of that, right? And sit in the awareness of it. Like, okay, I feel this. I feel angry. Where's the anger coming from, right? And this is just me sharing where a little piece of my anger management therapy with y'all, okay?
Right.
Like, where is the anger coming from? Like, sit with it. Why am I angry right now?
Why am I angry?
Why do I want to hit this person in their face? Where is that coming from? Because the emotion does not start at anger. I removed all the other emotions to get to the anger. That's why the depiction that you showed was so profound, because I've been there and I know that, and I had to step into that level of awareness of, I just kind of wanted to ignore the emotions that were down here,
right,
and go straight to the anger,
right.
But the problem with that is when you go straight to the anger, it leads to bad decisions. Those bad decisions lead to a lot of different things that can happen, and so you have to be very careful about how you are, what you're doing with certain emotions. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's something that, because men do not want to address all of their emotions, that's why this is a big conversation that we want to have, is that you have to embrace what you feel. Like, don't run from it.
Right.
And who are you trying to prove something to?
Right.
Another man who probably is not doing what he's telling you he's doing.
Right.
He probably doing something totally different. But it seems cool to agree with that low vibrational shit.
Right.
That you don't love or like the person that you're with. It's not cute. And I mean, honestly, if I were a woman that heard any man say that, I would run as fast as I could. That wouldn't even be funny for me. I wouldn't even be like, oh, he was just joking. So
and I'm not gonna validate that foolishness.
No.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend and they were saying, like, the way they had to deal with their anger, right? They were like, okay, what? So they broke it down, right? Okay. Why, like you said, why am I angry? He was like, and this is a man. He said, I asked myself whys, right? And he was like, okay, why am I angry? Okay, I'm really angry because they embarrassed me, right? And so, okay, so was my response, and I want them to feel the embarrassment, but was my response to them, did that give me the satisfaction I needed, right? Because he swung on the guy, and he was like, it didn't give me the satisfaction I needed. And so, because I wanted them to feel embarrassed, but it didn't do that. It didn't do the trick. So reality is, I want you to really feel the way I'm really feeling. Once I identify the real feeling, I want you to feel it, right? So that's why I respond to you like that. But the anger, if you use anger, then I'm just blowing up, like you said, making poor decisions. But if you're really processing it, like, okay, what is the anger? Where is that coming from? What is this? And then how can I work through that?
And I want to very briefly just talk about how, as women, because I love my women. I am for the women empowerment. We need to be lifting each other up. We need to be supporting each other. But I have to also hold you accountable. And when you meet a man who words and actions do not line up, okay, this is not a man's fault when you don't pay attention, okay? Because
we think we can save him.
Right. But you have to honor yourself completely, not to the point of it's to your detriment because you feel like I need to help somebody. I need to build a man. I need to do this. I need to be understanding. No. If you see that man does not have the capacity to care for you and love you in a healthy way,
right,
you're responsible for you. You don't get to later blame that man for the drama, for the trauma, for all of that, because you're responsible for you. There are men who show you exactly who they are. And we have a responsibility to protect ourselves.
Yes.
We have a responsibility to care more about ourselves than we do about a relationship that's going to be toxic anyway.
Right.
So do yourself a favor and step into the full awareness of what type of people you're encountering and welcoming into your space.
Right.
That way you don't have to, and the reason why I'm saying that is because you end up bitter and angry and saying all men are a specific way. All men are not a specific way, but the men who show you who they are, believe them.
And here's the thing though. The big thing is that they'll show you the first 5 minutes you talk to them. A man does not, like, it's not like they cover up anything. They don't cover up anything. they tell you exactly who they are, unless somebody is intentionally like doing this intentional but typically they just be talking. All you gotta do is listen.
Mm-hmm.
They'll tell you and then you think, because you think something's funny, they'll chuckle, but pay attention. Pay attention. They will tell. I'm telling you, a man will let you know in the first 5 minutes.
They really will though. I mean, and that is an art that I had to learn. Rather than trying to, because one of the major things that I would do is I would try to it's this thing now that I say now where I say, yeah, I don't give benefits of the doubt anymore.
There's no such thing.
I don't do that, because that was some made up shit.
There's no benefit to a doubt. If you doubt, there's no benefit to a doubt.
It's an illusion, right? It's an illusion that we create. I'm giving you a benefit of something I haven't seen yet, that you've not exhibited, but I'm giving you this benefit of an illusion. It doesn't make sense. So I don't give people
a doubt. You sat there and told me exactly what it was.
That part.
No doubt. You just told me. You just told me you test your baby mama out.
How many? I'm gonna ask you this question, cousin. How many men have you met that said, "Yeah, I ain't really looking for no relationship," and you kept talking to them, and you wanted a relationship? Huh?
Not many now. Like,
not many now, but I know for me,
I'd be like, oh, I'll change it.
For me back in the day, a lot of them.
I'll be different, because I'm gonna be different.
A lot of them said that to me, and guess what I did?
Stay with them.
Kept on walking alongside with them. I don't want a relationship. I don't want this. So now we 6 months later, and I see you out with somebody, and I get in my feelings. What am I in my feelings for? Because this man told me exactly who he was in the first 10 minutes.
The very beginning.
He told me, I ain't looking for no relationship. Right. I don't want that. That's facts, Floyd. No benefit of the doubt, because I doubt the benefits. That's good there. That's good there.
Yeah.
That's good. Because what is the benefit? The benefit is not going to be in my benefit. You know, like Floyd is saying, it's not going to be in my benefit. So why do we put ourselves in position?
Yes.
And we set ourselves up thinking that we can change somebody. We do not have superpowers.
Not Captain Save-A-Ho.
Okay? We don't have it. And we shouldn't even want it. I
want to save nobody.
Let's be clear. I don't want to do that. That's exhaustive.
It's a lot of work. I got to work on me. First of all, I got to work on me. I'm going to work on me and you.
Right. Because I'm a lot.
By myself.
By my whole self. Look, I'm telling you, I'm a whole lot by myself. So trying to take care of, trying to fix you, trying to get you, nope.
No.
And then again,
calls for you. I'm like, because you don't have no job. I'm not looking nothing up for you because you ain't got no home to stay in. I'm not doing it.
So we still early in 2025, y'all. You can cut the shit. Don't do this in 2025, please. Woman or man, don't do it.
I think we're doing better. I think we're doing better, because I'm gonna tell you what better looks like. Better looks like exposing what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're able to
having these conversations,
yes,
mm-hmm.
So
you're right.
Growth. So yes, they were able to admit it. Finally, somebody said out loud that everybody and other men, and so now we can see that this is what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, and so now we can be more aware. And so that gives us the opportunity to make more conscious decisions.
Yep. I think that it's to our benefit to have a better understanding of each other and what each other's experiences are. And like I said earlier, like it may be when I hear men say certain things about women, I don't necessarily feel any kind of way if it's something negative, because I continue to do the individual work on myself. Mm-hmm. So, and I don't take on I don't take on the weight of all women.
Right.
Right?
From
Which
all. No, I'm
no,
not.
I don't take on that. And I think men have to learn to do that as well so
Yes.
that they can focus more so on, okay, objectively, what can I contribute to in terms of the healing, the growth,
Right.
the pivot of men's mindset? How can I contribute to that
Right.
versus how do I not get emotional about something? You release the ties of the emotion, because that's the real change comes from us disconnecting from the emotion part of it and
Mm-hmm.
saying, okay, because I'm a realist. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really easy for me to just do that in a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
because I just think about it in reality.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, okay, this is the issue, right? It may not feel good going down.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason. But
Right.
that's also an indicator for me. If something doesn't feel good going down, what do I need to check in myself?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I feel triggered?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I feel upset by that? They're talking about that woman, not me.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't affect me, doesn't have anything to do with me. So why do I feel something from that? And I challenge the men to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
If there's something that you feel triggered by or you feel emotional about, ask yourself the question, or you feel angry about. Like we talked about earlier, like there are men who are getting angry because women were saying, I choose a bear over a man. Well, if your woman didn't choose a bear over a man, why the hell you mad? It's
And
weird. Cut
yeah,
it out.
yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. Like with,
Sorry, go ahead.
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm like, because we're trying to, because I can speak for me, right? I would get frustrated because I would think they were directly talking to me, and and it was me trying to prove them wrong.
Yep.
For what? So I'm working my own stuff. I'm working myself up and be like, you know what? Right? Because I'm trying to prove to them I'm different. I'm different, and so I would get upset, and I would have these stupid arguments to show that, see, because I wouldn't do this, or yeah. And I don't. And so once you step away from, they're not even talking about me, like you're not. And even if they were, right, I don't have to. I still don't have to prove myself to you unless you're in a relationship with me, and then we can work that out.
Exactly.
This random dude that we having a conversation, then then I can just, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the only reason that I brought that up several times is because I look at the comments of certain videos, and it's always men that are just going in and wanting to argue about a woman's experience. And I'm like,
Weird.
but why does that upset you? Because that's her experience.
Her
I
own,
need you to sit with
by
yourself,
herself.
bruh.
Yeah.
Why
See,
does that make you angry?
women always want to, women be, ooh, what? Ooh,
The tapping thugs. Like,
popping thugs.
sit with that, bruh. Why do you feel this way? Why did that,
The what?
the tapping thugs?
What's that?
They tapping on the keyboard and being thugs. They on that keyboard going hard. I ain't that type of man. I'm a good man. I don't act like that.
If you arguing on this, that was cognitive dissonance.
Talk about it.
Oh, dang it. Hold on.
Talk about it.
Just came. So cognitive dissonance is the idea that two things could be the same, right? Two opposite things could coexist. Goodness gracious. Like could coexist. So it's like so that a man says, I'm a good man, but then it said, because I say this or do this, but then they display something different. It can coexist at the same time, right? And so we try to, and so that's the thing, Twitter fingers instead of trigger fingers.
That's right, babe.
Okay, wait. Let me see if I can put this into it. Let me see. So what we try to we don't realize the cognitive dissonance, right? So even though, like, so say even though I remember watching this guy be a good father to his girls, right? But just because he's a good father to his girls does not mean he's going to be a good woman to me. I mean,
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
So he could be a good father, but he might not be a good relationship haver.
Yeah. He might not be a good partner.
Right. A relationship haver. And so that's cognitive dissonance, right? That's when I can see a good father, but not a good partnership. Right?
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay.
And Don said, example is telling a lie while believing you are an honest person.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, and we come in contact with people like this all the time, right?
Right.
In their reality, it's something totally different.
Right.
Than what is really the case.
Right.
So, or like I've met men and women who think that they're great partners, right? And then you talk to their partner off to the side and they like, this ain't that, right? And then but sometimes you even notice little subtle things, right? You just can see it, and you can see those things and you're like, yeah.
So these conversations, okay. So these conversations, it's some conversations I've had with men too. And and not all men, where they're like, oh, we need to get back to the role of a woman and the role of a man. Did we have this conversation? Did I tell you?
No.
So I had this friend, and I was asking him, because he said that, and he said, we need to get back to the role of a man and a woman. They're supposed to, the woman do the woman things and the man do the man things. And I said, well,
what the hell does that even mean?
Kia, I said, well, what does that look like in real life? Like, what would that look like in real time? Like, you're in a relationship and the woman has a role and you have a role. What would that look like right now? This fool said, you see this refrigerator? I can pick up this refrigerator. Okay, well, how often are you picking up the refrigerator? And why are we picking up said refrigerator? I didn't really literally said this. Like, so it was the brawn. Like, the men has the brawn duties, right? This muscle duties, and the women have the other duties. How often are we picking up a refrigerator? And why are we picking up the refrigerator? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So let's look at reality. Reality is we are living in a time and we're in California. So you know how much my two bedroom cost? It was a townhome. I didn't even own it. You know how much that month cost? $3,200 a month. So are we lifting refrigerators in this townhome? Is it gonna bring any money if you lift that refrigerator? Unless you lift other people's refrigerators, right? So your brawn does not. There's gonna be financial support and teamwork and partnership. And so, and this concept and this idea again that men and women and women are, even that concept is a colonizer's concept.
Yeah.
Western culture's concept. That is not a universal concept, because there are women in other countries fighting wars that are warriors. So that is a Western. So if you get out of that concept that you're only good for as a man, you're only good for one thing, that's not okay either. You are more than that. You are more than that, men. You are not just the brawn. It's okay. Like, you can be nurturing and loving and still be strong. They cognitive dissonance. They can
be vulnerable.
And it doesn't make you, and you can still have brawn. You can still pick up refrigerators and beat people up. I mean, what you want to do? The Flintstones concept.
Yeah, and I do believe.
Well, he said good.
You do have a good bad back. You have a bad back, but you be lifting stuff, babe. You be doing a lot. You be doing a lot.
He said good because I want to lift the refrigerator. I didn't even know why that was a concept. I was like, so we lifting refrigerators. How often are we lifting? And what does the woman do? What is she doing? She's cooking. So is she? So all the stuff. So we lift the refrigerators once a year, and she's cooking how often? Every day?
Right.
That's off a back too.
I just think that I really do believe that, like, these are the conversations we need to have more of, so that there's an awareness, a heightened awareness of when we see videos like that, where those men are saying things like that, that is a true reality for a lot of women. A lot of women, whether their husbands or significant others have said that to them, they're behaving that way. They're conducting themselves in a certain way that the woman can easily pick up on the fact that this man don't even care about me. This man doesn't even love me. There is a sadness that I have for certain women who feel like abuse equals love, or neglect equals love, or a man that's in competition with you equals love.
That's weird.
A man that demeans you in front of other people is love. A man that doesn't have a soft side and can't get vulnerable with you. None of those things are love.
No.
And he can say all of these things that he does on a physical side equates to love. But what men have to understand is the woman needs something deeper than that. And just because, like the example you use of a man lifting a refrigerator, just because you can lift a refrigerator, it ain't even once a year, once every now and then. If you have to lift a refrigerator once every now and then, and the way life is set up now with a dolly, you still ain't lifting no damn refrigerator. Let's be clear.
A dolly.
That's not something.
A dolly.
You're not even tasked with that. So let's be clear. I don't want to be loved in that type of way.
Yeah.
I don't want to be loved in a way where, well, I lifted the car up and changed the tire for you. That does not equate to love.
For me.
Does that mean that you care about me getting somewhere safely? Yeah. But that's not equivalent to love. I need a deeper connection. Right. I need for you to have vulnerable moments. I need for you to be authentic in your care for me and not care about what another man is saying that does not even make sense. That you've just agreed with and laughed with and carried on about. It's not funny. It's not a joke. Right. And we deserve more than that.
Yeah.
You know, we deserve to be truly and deeply loved. And that's just it.
But even, okay, so I don't know if it's not devil's advocate, but I was going to say, even a man deserves, like, even the man, like, if you don't like your wife, then you
exactly.
How did we get to this point where you are with somebody or married somebody that you didn't even like?
Yep.
Like, how did you do that? What was that about? What was that? Why did you choose somebody that you could like and enjoy? You know?
Mm-hmm. We all deserve the best of love, right?
Yes.
That's why I said we need to have these conversations, because when you know that you deserve better,
right,
you're going to move very differently. You won't just accept anything. You won't just, and I feel bad because sometimes we stay in these relationships forever and ever and ever and ever, knowing, like, we actually know that this is not going anywhere, that this person does not care about us, and that's sad for me to know, like, because I've been there before. I've been the person in a relationship knowing that I'm with a partner that does not care about me really, that does not truly want to make this relationship work. And I'm just hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
I've been there before. There's no satisfaction to it. It's not going to change, right? Because they are comfortable with who they are and who they're being. Mm-hmm. We can't change people. We have to allow people to be who they are. And that's okay. You can be a bad partner for me. I don't necessarily think you may be a bad person, but you just may be a bad partner for me. Right. And I wish you the best in your journey. You go your way, and I'll go mine.
The concept of love and the reality of love is often confused. Huh. So we spoke earlier because I was like, the concept of love too, right? because there's so many different meanings of love, right?
Yeah.
And so what if, because, and I think, you know, you have it's this whole thing like, oh, they said they love me first or whatever. And it becomes this big thing, right? But even when they said, I don't love my wife either. And because it wasn't the not loving them for me. It was, again, it was a different underlying, I don't even like her. Right.
Yeah.
And so what if instead of love, what if it's gratitude for your partner?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What if it's just having gratitude, like enjoying, creating a space of gratitude with the person you're partnering with?
Yeah.
Something that's safe and healthy, right? Even because they have the 5 love languages, and if you don't get like, and somebody even said this too, like, because you got 5 love languages, and you're like, oh, this is how you only got to show me love, but that might not be just, I might not just want to be, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, you change my time in my car. My love language is time spent and touch. But if you change the time in my car,
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm so grateful for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a space of gratitude. I'm grateful for you, baby, and I want to make sure you make it to your destination safe.
Yep.
So I did this for you. That's gratitude, right? Does that mean, I mean, like that's
it. And I actually I love that concept, because it is when you talked about how when he was like, yeah, how they were just like, I don't like my wife. It was like, very evident. It was very clear. It was such, like I said, it was cringy.
I don't like mine either. Like
it was just so cringy that I was just like, there's no way this is like, they can't think this is funny.
Yeah.
But they did, you know. As a matter of fact, babe, can you play that other clip for me before we close out?
You said some men are not marrying who they really want to be with because of their emotions. So you got to dive into that.
All right. Well, me working with a lot of men that want to get married, desire it, it's their fear of being exposed for not being this stoic 24/7.
Yeah.
And so I tell men, look, it's time to live authentic. If she doesn't appreciate you being a comprehensive man, basically where I'm strong and sensitive, courageous, but also compassionate, she can't take all of you as a human being. You've been blessed because you know this is the wrong woman. However, when you find the right one, I tell men to stop allowing things that you don't have to stop you from getting who you can.
That's beautiful.
So when I saw that clip,
that's beautiful.
I actually meant to tell him to play that earlier, and we was kind of like on that topic, but I did want to close out with it because it's such a profound statement, and that's coming from a man.
Yeah.
Right.
That you don't want.
So what are you all's thoughts, listeners? What are you all's thoughts on the first clip and the second clip? The last clip, the first clip? You wanna talk about either of the clips that we've played or any of the conversation?
I know, because we didn't even play the one where we was talking about the podcast.
Well, I didn't want to play that one.
Oh, okay. Y'all
but
on your own.
Yeah, go look for that one on your own. I didn't want to play that one, but I wanted to share some other clips
I like
that were specific to our conversation this evening. But do you guys have any questions, any comments, any feedback in terms of the conversation that we had this evening? What are your thoughts? Y'all was a little quiet tonight. Y'all got a little engaged, but what y'all got? No feedback, no comments? This was a deep conversation, I know. And I know me and Shamika try to have the deep conversations. We do. Because it really is about empowering others. It's about us healing as a community, as a whole. And so that's why, what we say is not meant to be divisive at all. It is meant for us to hear one another, to understand each other, to have a higher level of respect for each other, and to love differently in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Because for a long time, and you all have heard me say this many of times and admit to this, I've loved in an unhealthy way and I've been loved in an unhealthy way. And when you get to understanding something different, you want to share that with people. And not everybody will embrace it, but you do want to share it.
Right.
So my Keisha says, I agree. I also think a lot of men don't know how to love properly based on the mistreatment their moms tolerated. That's what you were talking about with that that mama trauma. And Don says the last clip opens the discussion of someone being with the wrong person and will need to find someone who will respect them and what they have to offer.
That's right.
Yeah. And that goes back to, what Shamika said at the end about, what he said was beautiful, because a lot of times that does happen, it happens a lot. And that is what kind of causes that. Even if he doesn't dislike her, that's what causes that to show up looking that way. If you're with the person that you don't want to be with and you don't feel truly connected with, the things that we see when we say that man don't like her, it's because of that. It's because you've settled and you've just accepted that person because of one or two things. But quite honestly, you don't have a true connection and love for her.
And now you're obligated.
Now you're obligated.
Now you married somebody that you didn't even want to be with. And well, I guess, because I was going to say too, we and it's interesting because I had we feel this, even we feel like we're supposed to break up with them because it's bad, right? Like, oh, they're abusive. No, what if it's just not the relationship for you? What if it just doesn't make you happy?
Yeah.
What if it doesn't work for you? And it's okay to say, this isn't working. Some people are so fearful of being alone that they not say, I want to try something else.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like that's healing too, right, cousin? When it's healing to be able to identify you're an amazing person. You're a great person, right? And I can honestly say that this is something I should have said to my first husband. I should have said, you're an amazing person. You're a great person. You're just not my person, right? I owed that to him. That would have been the fair thing to do, but I didn't. And so what became unfair was the fact that I pushed myself to be with somebody based on them being a nice person, but not caring about them, not feeling connected to them like that, not having all of the things that mattered. Floyd said, no questions, but I truly enjoyed the conversation and this topic. Thank you, Floyd. And then Marcus said the concept of you will learn to love. Oh, wait, and my friend told me that. Matter of fact, I'm gonna call her out. My bestie told me that. She was like, you will learn to love him. He's such a great guy. You can't let him get past you. Right. And I don't blame her because we've been conditioned. We've been conditioned to think a certain way. And she said it out of love. Like, no, bestie, you got this great guy.
You deserve him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. It wasn't out of like malice or anything. It's this concept that we are supposed to be in this relationship. And so, because that's our status. Because again, that's how we have our status. So this is carried on. That's another episode. You're right.
You're right, babe. You're right. Thanks for pulling us back in. Thanks for pulling us back in.
ADHD will bring
we needed to be reeled back in because the hourglass is empty. Thank you, baby. I'm finna lay down anyway because I don't know. I got this disrespectful cold trying to come in and do some things, but boop, not gonna take it.
It's a lie.
It's a lie. It's a lie. So
he was serious. He's like, no, for real, that was another episode. He's like, no, seriously.
Okay, babe, we'll make it another episode. Okay. But thanks you guys for the feedback. Thanks for being a part of the live. For those that come back and watch the replay, we welcome you. We thank you for coming back and watch the replay. Make sure you put hashtag replay when you watch it and give us your thoughts. Share your thoughts with us.
Yeah.
And so we appreciate you guys. Hey, sis, I see you on here. She said we were great and we look great.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't look great under this hat, but that's why.
I know you see my grades come out.
But look, I made it happen tonight. I made it happen.
Look cute because it goes. You did.
I made it happen tonight, boy, because I'm finna go lay down. Okay, cousin, you gonna close us out?
Yes. Okay.
Thanks,
you
Markeisha,
so much for being here. Thank you guys for receiving. So we're gonna take a deep breath in. Oh, I was supposed to count. Hold on. Wait. Stop breathing. Stop breathing. Do it again. Do it again.
Count us out. Count us out, cousin.
Okay. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. 2.
I can't hold. My nose stopped up.
Breathe in one more time. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you guys for thank you for being part of this journey with us. And we just thank you that all of life comes to us with ease and joy and glory. How does it get any better? And what else is possible? Thank you, guys.
Yes.
Hey.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Peace out. We love y'all. Until next time, next Tuesday. The fellas, let's see what y'all got for us next Tuesday.
Yes.
Peace.
Seeing eyes of mine, you see, there are no trees inside of me.